So about a month ago, my uncle challenged me, can you build a Warhammer 40K Titan? So I looked up some photos and I'm gonna give it a shot. So this is for you, Uncle Nick. All right, so starting off, I know it's a Titan and we're gonna need some joints. So I'm gonna put together the only joints I have as a starting point. So I'm guessing these are going to be its legs. Going to be a little bit stubby, but I'm going to hopefully armor them off. I'm not going to be able to build a giant Titan based off of the parts I have, but I'll give it my best shot here. This is going to be a bit of a violent build because Z-Blob is going to have to sacrifice his limbs. Whoa, those come out tricky. Those come out pretty hard. Sacrifice your limbs for the Warhammer 40K Titan. All right, so now we stole Z-Blob's joints. We'll be able to have the arm pieces for the Titan. Starting off with its feet here, I'm just using these black pieces to come around for the heel of the Titan. I want to make sure that the feet on this Titan are big enough to support all of the weight and be able to support it well enough. Just going ahead here and taking care of some of the angling and making it look better with not open studs. Placing a tile on the back of the heel here just for that clutch power. Making sure that I get the shaping on the feet right so it doesn't look too blocky. These pieces work great for that. Definitely want to make sure that I'm doing some sort of greebling texture in the knees just so it doesn't look so plain. So I'm going to do that using these clip pieces with these bar elements. I think it's looking all right. I want to start mixing a little bit of gray into this build, so I actually went ahead and replaced that bar piece. Just one that has a little gray stud here, starting to add some color to the knee joints there. Now I'm going to attach the legs together with a frame for the body. Actually, to give myself some place to attach to, I'm going to go ahead and replace these with this to give myself more room to work with up here. Reinforce it from the back. Time to start adding in some gray coloring just to offset that black. More reinforcement in the back of these bricks. Moving on to the back of the Titan. Now I'm going to want it to be about this high. I also might make it wider at the top just because I know that they are narrower and then wider. So I'm using black bricks here to give me more of that width in the Titan. And you know what? Let's throw a little gray in there to give it some of that off-centered coloring for more of the rustic look. You know what? I'm going ahead and changing that design so we can fit our joints in here. Let's go ahead and throw some studs knot on top bricks so we can build off the top of the surface then to add some weaponry. Just creating somewhat of a structure here to get those joints on. So they'll fit right in here. Be able to reinforce it with this black tile. There we go. Reinforce that from the back as well. I think this windscreen piece is going to work pretty well for that look of the Warhammer Titan. They seem like they're narrower at the top and then more bulky at the bottom. Place that in right here. I think that looks pretty good. Now for the fun part is going to be texturing the front of this, as well as just filling in some of these pointless gaps. So start with some of that sloping and angling. Right like that. Some greebling, some texturing. I don't want to tile it off completely, but I want to add some different color here. That looks pretty decent. Give it a little panel there to work with. Do something fun like this. Just giving it a little bit more shaping here on the underside by the legs there. I think we're getting a pretty okay look for the front here. So I definitely noticed looking from photos that the Warhammer Titans definitely have shoulder pads over top of their arms. Definitely want to add some extra clutch power to those shoulder pads. Get those placed on top here. We got to start texturing off the arm area up here. We did a pretty good job at the bottom. Just got to start working up there. Using these curved macaroni pieces can give it some angling, but I'm worried it might stick out too far in the front, so I might not end up going with that after all. These macaroni pieces kind of fit in here. I'll see if this is something I want to keep. It just adds a little bit more color. I added some black studs to the tip there. I think I'm going to stick with this look. It kind of brings the gray through, which I'm actually a pretty big fan of. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways, even though it sticks out a bit far. Add these. It just lines up better with the little tubes I have there. Plus, I like the shaping of it. We'll add some little gauges to the side there as well. Can't have a Titan without some sort of computers, right? For the other side, we'll just add a little grill piece. And underneath here, just to stick with the kind of the way it's looking so far, rounding off towards the front, we're gonna place it down these gray parts. I might be going heavy on the gray here, but I think it's a good color to complement the black. And I'm thinking almost red studs on the front. I want to implement a little bit of red into this build. Red might be too aggressive, so I'm going to throw in some orange. I think that's a little more color toned to this build. Really like that orange, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it on down here as well. I think that looks pretty neat. I actually enjoy that orange so much, I'm going ahead and doing the bottom kneecaps there, throwing a bit of orange on there as well. I'm really digging that orange. I think it complements it pretty well. This lamppost I think would make a pretty good gun that like sits on the shoulder of the Titan. So definitely want that on this side of the shoulder of the Titan. I reinforce the back of this turret using this piece. And then I'll do some shaping around the top. Add that for some shaping around the top. And just because I like that orange, throw a little orange bit on there for like the antenna. I'm gonna attach it using this piece. Those other pieces weren't working out for me too well. Sit on the top like that. I think I'm gonna slope off his shoulder here. Actually, I should probably reinforce the shoulder pads. Throwing in some more orange on those shoulder pad reinforcers with some innovation here. It'll be able to peek through a little bit there if I don't cover it up, because shoulder pads off, so it's easier to customize that reinforced part there. Adding some clip pieces, maybe we'll add some orange on there, you never know. Move the cannon over, and I'm just placing these 1x1s in there, so we'll be able to snap these on top. Also, we're going to just use some black studs. Also, the back of this thing isn't pretty, so we're not going to be looking at the back too much. I'm going to go ahead and put a little tile there for sloping. Go ahead and setting one on the other side. Hose here, and I figured this honestly looks like it'd make a good little hydraulic going to his arm. So I think that'll work. For the other side, just a little gray stud there. Give it some color. Just gonna add this for some greebling. You might be able to see it from the front too. Looks all right. So now the arms, the part that I'm most scared about, it's attached with these little crosses. So I got some bricks that'll hopefully switch over to that. Got these white parts. We're just gonna have to swap out the pins. We can go with these black pins. This will give us a connection point to build off of, so that's good. Just throwing some plates on here. Then I'll throw some bricks in there with some studs and knot on top. These fellas right here, these are great to build off of. Place some just like that over there, and then these will hopefully bring up. They're just a tad bit longer. I'll find a different solution. I'll go ahead and use that brick and then just place these tiles down because I think if I place a singular brick there, it should bring it up to about here, and then I can tile it off. Comes that reinforced. Wait, I need to put those pieces on first. We're gonna go ahead and throw in these black parts right here. That should work. Tile them off, just like that. I had to go and take another look at the Warhammer Titans, and it looks like they all kind of like drop down after a certain point. They go lower, and then they have the Gatling guns mounted lower from the shoulders. These edges here are a perfect place to put down these black bricks just to continue that curved shaping on the arms there. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these on too, just so it's an all black top part. Also on the back part of the arms here, I want to stay with that all black, so I'm gonna go ahead and place these down. I think they add just the perfect amount of black to it. Time to work on the Gatling gun part. I only have 2 of these bars, so that's why I'm using this other lamppost piece to give it that third, basically, gun there. I might extend the length in this a little bit to kind of match this. I think I'm just going to have to use some gray studs to match the length. I don't have a bar piece like that. Now it's time to do some of the shaping on this. I'm going to go ahead and place down these black kind of tile parts here. I might use this as a little additional gun piece. Set that on the side right there. And then I'm just going to throw a little grill tile at the top. Pretty happy with how this cannon turned out. The other side, we're going to do like a singular, like long cannon. Nick probably knows what these cannons are called, Gatling gun turrets, all that stuff. He knows that they have like chainsaws on some of the sides, but I don't really feel like trying to build a chainsaw, so we're gonna build this into like a longer cannon. I really wish I had round pieces, but I'm just gonna have to go with the bricks. Golden tip, put a golden little unicorn horn in there, place that on the front. That way it's like a pinpoint laser beam blaster of sorts. Head and attach that to the arm right here. I'm actually just going to pull off this arm piece for now and build up the greebling. So adding some sloping here to that cannon. Go ahead and throw these in there. These work pretty well for that. Honestly, use this little translucent piece. That could work right here. That looks pretty good. Ooh, what if we snuck a bottle, a little glass bottle, translucent bottle, and place an orange stud on as a little side cannon? I think that'd be great. Even better, let's add a fire piece to it, so it's like ready to ignite. How does that look? That looks all right. I like that. Just throwing some little sloping elements in here. Little finishing touch. We can't forget these studs over here. We'll get this attached back to that Titan. Man, that looks cool. So here's the finished product, Nick. I accepted your challenge, and I'm glad I did. It came out with something that I'm actually pretty proud of, actually. I don't usually build like Titans or mechs or stuff like that. I stick to more so like buildings, terrain pieces, and stuff like that. And also, poor Z-Blob is sitting over here in pieces because of this this custom build here. But I'm actually happy with the finished product. I really never built anything like this. It looks good from the front. If you turn it around back, yeah, we won't look at the back part of it. The front looks great though. It looks great, honestly. I am pretty happy with this thing. I think my building skills are all right, and so it turned out decent. I'll throw up some more actual Warhammer like photos. So there those are. And yeah, how neat is that? I'm pretty happy with it, but unfortunately I will be disassembling it and rebuilding Z-Blob. But I'm glad I took on this challenge because it turned out really cool.